After seeing so many closed Lithuanian clubs down in England, it's very nice to come here to Scotland and see one that's still open and still full of people and still open like 5 days a week. So what is the history of this Lithuanian Scottish club, the only one such ever to have existed in Scotland?
The history is basically Lithuanians settling in this area, Bellshill, Moss End, because of the work here, the mines, the steelworks. It's where they all seem to congregate and form the real community. They had their own shops, their own paper, they had night schools to teach the language, and although they didn't have their own church, they had their own religious services, and they seem to make this their second home.
So your family is actually mixed in, like your father came from Lithuania after World War II with refugees from the Soviet Union, and your mother was a descendant of original Lithuanians who came here before World War I, yes?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, and so both of these communities were represented here in this club?
Yeah, this club really is the one that came after the original one, which was basically an old tin hall. It was an old Anglican church, which they managed to sort of buy, and the locals called it the Pole Hall for some reason. They couldn't distinguish between Lithuanian and Polish people, but that was the kind of place that helped them gel together. They had a dance every single month, and then they had their mass as well every month.
So that first Lithuanian club was demolished to build a wider road, a roundabout, yeah, and this one was then built to replace it in the 70s, yes?
Yep, the money from the demolition and selling the land for the development of a new road layout helped pay for a much more modern facility. It's not a beautiful building or anything, but it's practical, and it basically has stood its time with us.
Indeed, there are larger buildings like Sodyba near London, and unfortunately all these buildings are lost. They are no longer in Lithuanian operation. I heard there were like plans or ideas to close this one too around year 2007 or so, but yet it still continues. So how did you manage to save it, and what activities are taking place here today?
Yeah, that wasn't the best of times. For some reason, the incubant a committee at that point in time, for some reason, thought the club was not viable, that there wasn't enough people coming here, and there wasn't enough people volunteering to help it, but they did it clandestinely by trying to sell it from underneath people's feet. They didn't open it up to the wider community. They stuck with a very select few members, some of whom never actually came to the club, but for some reason they managed to be members, and on that night voted to shut it down. But fortunately, there was a group of people who paid a solicitor, put an injunction, and basically stopped that, and the club has not looked back since. It's been very successful.
And what activities are taking place now? Like it's open 5 days a week, yeah? And what activities can you find here?
The activities are in the main, it's more a kind of community facility. The regular functions are Thursday evening, there is bingo, and then there is Friday. Mostly functions happen on a Friday. Saturday, a Friday is private functions, birthday parties, celebrations, retirements. On a Saturday is a regular dance. There is a group featured, and the clientele are old. They're getting older. The youngest is probably 70, and then it goes up to 90. So So far, it's something for people to look forward to. People get dressed up, they go out, and it's good for the club as well. Sunday night, quiet night, bingo again for the women. And it's a meeting place for people to come to, which day by day, everywhere else, there are fewer and fewer places for people to socialise and get together.
I'm glad the Scottish Lithuanian Club is still continuing, and this was Anthony Patterson, originally Podesys.
Podresas.
Yeah, all the names have been changed there and made English after coming to the United Kingdom. So it was very nice talking to you, and I wish that the club would continue for many more years.
You're very welcome. Thank you.